What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube video. Hope everyone is well. I'm great, thank you for asking. We'll take you through a little bit of a leg day today. I feel like we've not done a leg day on the channel for a while. I'm obviously trying to be a classic guy now, so the leg sessions are more important than ever. More important than any time in my career ever. I've always worn board shorts up to the knee. Well, I've never wanted to have skinny legs, but so I've always trained them. I guess there's more emphasis on actually needing them to grow. So we're gonna go through a leg day here. First up, calves, because everyone needs more calves. Ooh. Super simple tips on calves. Flat shoes, pause at the bottom, pause at the top. That's it. And obviously control through the movement. Make sure you do that every single time. So we generally hamstring curl before we squat. Just think it does a few things. Gets like a little bit of heat in the joint, which is good for when you actually want to load the joint. But also like to get your leg all the way up here and fully contracted, like that gets so much harder. I know you heard me say 100 times on this channel, but it gets so much harder with fatigue. So if you can compare the weight that we would do now, like the second exercise, or the first exercise, calves don't count, versus if we took this hamstring curl and put it after leg press, after hack squats, or pendulum squats, and the weight we did then, so weight versus set 1 versus set 4, this would be way lower, way lower. So we're gonna get a lot more bang for our buck doing this. And these exercises in the middle aren't gonna get as affected as much, because it's quite a low fatigue exercise.
One more.
Come on then. Scoop right under. Nice.
That's good.
That'll do it. Oh God.
I know where my hamstrings are blown because I can feel my adductors.
Oh, yeah,
And I have to relax my ankles because if not my calves take over.
Yeah. That's two important things to know, that when your like fatigue builds up, things are going to start to come in that aren't the muscle you're trying to work, because you're just trying to, you're telling the body to bring the weight forward. If the muscle's exhausted, you're going to bring everything down. That's why people's hips come up, to try and get that under as well. So sets can finish a lot earlier than what they like look like they should do, because if we're not directing that intent on the targeted muscle, it's that wasted energy perhaps. That's something to think about.
Yeah.
Let's do one more.
Yes, good.
Oh. Alright guys, so this is like since I've been in Dubai, this is my second full leg session, well, attempted second session. First two I nearly passed out, the third one I passed out, like out cold. But I've kind of corrected the issues, hydration, electrolytes, a bit more food. We're gonna do the pendulum squat first, but there is a guy currently on there with, I shouldn't say it's too loud, he's got lifting knee wraps on, and he's got 20 kilos of side on. That's one way to not strengthen your knees. So we're going to do the lateral leg press first. Normally we'd swap those around. I'm not going to get too like insecure about it. Insecure is not the right word. I'm not going to get too paranoid about it or too OCD about it. You're still going to get maximum stimulus. I'm just going to swap them around. So we'll do leg press first, pendulum after. I'm not afraid of a little background leg at the bottom. Like as long as you're not impinging your back or hurting your back, if it's just going to hurt my range of motion, I don't really have an issue with it. Just be careful that it's not hurting you. Once you cross over from depth into injury, it becomes an issue.
10, 15?
Yeah.
All right, we'll stick with that then.
I got another one here.
There's one there.
Keep moving, Harley, come on. Press. Strong.
One.
Yeah. Press.
Yeah.
Nice. What was that, 12? 14? Oh shit. Oh shit, that means I gotta try that.
That felt good.
Oh shit. Doesn't count when his legs are bigger than mine though.
Nice.
Come on.
3 there. 2. Yes. Drive. There's one more there.
Come on then.
Come on. Drive. Yes. There we go. Good.
Oh.
Good set.
Quickly realised after doing that leg press that going from a leg press to a pendulum squat afterwards was probably not a good idea. So we ended up adding a set to that, to the leg press that you just saw. And one thing you'll note when you do these leg presses and hack squats and pendulum squats, very quad biased, right? My quads are blown right now. So instead of going from that leg press straight into a leg extension where there's a huge amount of fatigue and a huge amount of blood, we're gonna jump in on an adductor, give a rest to our quads. Also a really low fatigue exercise, so it's not gonna cause us a lot of like out of breath, a lot of recovery demand. And then once we've done that, we can jump onto the leg extension afterwards. So it's kind of a little bit of thinking about that leg day a little bit. Two more.
That's good. Yes.
I'm gonna do some partials. So not everyone has the pleasure of having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leg extensions. So we spent a bit of time going through them to see which one has the optimal resistance profile, so which one basically drops off at the top because we're pretty fatigued now, which one feels the best just internally, bro style, and then which one offers the most range of motion. And we've landed on the prime because actually our legs are getting in a much more length. That's cramp. That's cramp. We're getting into a much more lengthened position on this prime. We've done a few of these other ones and you're just not getting as far back as what we need to. So when you're choosing an exercise, think about those things. How does it feel? What range of motion has it got available? And what resistance profile does the machine have? Final exercise for me, glutes. Now, obviously I've been training with a Harley a lot and I'm sure you guys have had a look. Like, we don't have similar strengths or weaknesses. We've got some of the same things, right? But we also need to work on different things. Legs are really fucking good, right? Calves, hamstrings, quads, glutes, they're really, really good. For me, my weak point is my glutes and my hamstrings. So I am putting a little bit more attention to detail in. So it doesn't need to upset our flow, because all we'll do is we'll just finish and I'll go and do my glutes afterwards. Similarly, it's fucking arms. I'm sure you guys notice those arms. All that happened is, sorry guys. People can just walk across the camera, guys. If you're in the gym, just walk across the camera. I don't care. So you'll see at the end of pull sessions and push sessions, he won't do as many arm sets because his arms are just massive already, but I'll just stay ahead and do mine. So guys, if you've got a guy who you love training with, pushing you to be better and do better, but you've got different goals, just like separate those goals at the end or at the beginning, come in a bit earlier, train those. And that's what we do. Shit. All right, guys, so for the juicy part, we'll talk about the cycle that I'm going to be running. I can talk about the full cycle from kind of start to finish, where I'm going to end up, and the reasons why it's going to be run that way. But I want to start with like the supplements, the health side of things, and also the blood work side of things. Not in terms of what the blood work was, but like how regular I'll do that. Because I think it's really important to know that you can mitigate a lot of this, mitigate as much as possible, I should say, not completely, because you are still going to be doing damage when you run gear. I'm not a doctor, you shouldn't do this, you should never ever copy me. Like, this is my 5th year doing steroids, I'm an IFBB pro, I'm trying to gain a shit ton of muscle, I'm already muscly, I've already used gear for 5 years. So all of those things come into the conclusion of why I'm running this. But first of all, with the health supplements, I'm going to read them off here. So first of all, I have Love Heart by Trained by JP. This is going to be very Trained by JP heavy because so much of his products are patented, which just means they aren't faked. They are from a patented company. They get quality checked all the time. And all of these supplements you can get from insightsubs.com and use Josh10 for discount across the whole range. Which is great. So Trained by JP Love Heart, that is for cholesterol. Trained by JP Heart Care, also for cholesterol, but also like calcium buildup, blood pressure, and things like that. I also use Trained by JP Cure Coming. This is basically a curcumin anti-inflammatory product. When we train so hard, get injuries, and also just use steroids, like you are going to have like low-grade inflammation sometimes. And the goal is to remove that as much as possible. Then we've got Omega Pharma, which is basically just omegas. We then got Vital Support, which is liver and kidney. I also use vitamin C, vitamin D, and taurine every single day. Those are going to help with immune system, skin, general health, all those types of things as well. I also use melatonin pre-bed, and I get a yearly echocardiogram. I get my blood pressure checked every other week, if not every week. I also do fasted blood glucose every single week as well. And I also do every 10 to 12 weeks as well. You guys have seen so many blood test videos on here. We try to clickbait you into them. Every like 12 weeks. So, I'll also do some ultrasounds on kidney and liver every 2 or 3 years as well, because when you are straining the body for an extended period of time, you may well find that these things strain as well, naturally, or unnaturally, I should say. So the direction that I take my anabolic steroids is I start at like a baseline dose. I move up every single week for something like 4 to 8 weeks, and then hit my peak dose. I then stay there. Last time I did it over 8 weeks, the escalation. This time I'm going to escalate over 4 weeks. The reason why I'm escalating over 4 weeks is because I have less time on this time. It's going to be less time on, so I want to get to the peak dose quicker because I've got my competitions to focus on. The timelines have to just shift a little bit, so I want to get more out of this time. And that's something you guys have to understand. You've got to plan these things out. You need time off. You also need time on. So how long is the time on? How long is the time off? Does it line up with your plan? So week 1, which is where we are right now, testosterone. I actually use testosterone cypionate. So the per week is probably a little bit higher than what this ends up at, but it's going to be 60 milligrams every other day, along with 200 milligrams of mast every other day, masteron. And that's masteron propionate, just because it's the one that I got here. So that immediately is about 250 milligrams of test E per week or test SIP per week, and around about 800 milligrams of prop per week. That'll be the first week. I also use 2.5 IUs of GH in the morning. I use 2.5 IUs of GH before I train, so that's 5 IUs of GH. The ancillaries we don't need to talk about, telmisartan, metformin, all those things, they stay in year round. Week 2 will be testosterone kept at 60 milligrams every other day, and then masteron will be moved to 300 milligrams every other day. This is already creeping up a fair amount, guys. That's an extra 400, it's like 1,200 milligrams of masteron per week. Testosterone isn't moving there because I've I've had some gyno issues and I'm pretty sensitive to it. Ironically, like more sensitive to it this year than ever. I don't know what that is. I don't really know the mechanisms behind that, but that is the truth of it. Week 3, testosterone remains the same again, 60 milligrams every other day. Mastron, 400 milligrams every other day. So that is 1,600 milligrams of Mastron. People here now are starting to scream, why are you using so much Mastron? Mastron's the driver here. We want to use an anabolic that causes the least amount of side effects and be able to handle the most out of it, and has the best ancillary properties like managing estrogen. That's why Primo and Mastron tend to be my main drivers. The last thing I want to do, or have any of my clients do, or see anyone do, is use drugs that aren't for human use, have a lot of negative ancillaries. Just an example, EQ. A lot of people use EQ. I have no idea why. It makes the blood pressure high, puts your red blood count really, really high. It's not like hugely anabolic. You can't tolerate it in high amounts. So for me, it's just a no-brainer that you'd stay away from it. So testosterone, Mastron, growth hormone, that's like my trifecta of peace. Maybe occasionally, I haven't done this for a few years, for maybe a year now actually, since I've been working for John, that's for sure, used a 19 nor at a very low dose. 19 nors are very strong. Their tissue selectivity, so their ability to act on a tissue, is pretty low. So as soon as these guys start to trickle above 2, 3, 4, 500 milligrams of MPP and Tren and Deca and things like that, that is when the head goes. That's when the psychological effects really start to happen. Yeah, you're going to grow more, of course, but at what detriment? And that's key to know. So the final week of escalations, week 4, we're going to be 40 milligrams of Test E every day. Test C, cyprinate every day, and 260 milligrams of Mastron every day. So that's a hefty cycle, boys and girls. That is 1,800 milligrams of Mastron. That is 300 milligrams of testosterone. Again, testosterone is going to be a little bit lower because I'm very gyno-sensitive. If I don't feel very good on this, I will relay this to John, and this is what a client should do to me. And if I wasn't coached by John, if I don't feel great on this and I feel like my estrogen is too low, I would just like take off 100 milligrams of Mastron and add 100 milligrams of testosterone, and just find that balance of having enough estrogen to feel good, have a good sex drive, have good like recovery, but then also not have the side effects of gyno. So this is always subject to change. Any cycle should always be subject to change. So if you have a coach who says this is your cycle, this is what you're going to do, and they've just predicted it and you're going to do this, like, how are you going to react to that? What if your blood pressure goes too high? What if you get gyno? What if you don't feel good? What if you feel unmotivated? What if you can't have sex with your missus anymore? What if you get erectile dysfunction? You know, those things start to be more important, and they are more important. So that's a hefty dose, guys. It's going to be 2,100 milligrams, 2.1 grams of gear. That is 300 milligrams more than last off-season, which was my highest ever. So in essence, to build more, you kind of need to do more sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of hectic. It's kind of brutal to think about. That's a hefty dose, guys. And I know people have called me out for telling me I was on grams and grams before. Yeah, now I am. All right, but back in the day, first cycle was 250, second cycle was 500, third cycle was 800, fourth cycle was a gram, fifth cycle was 1,200 milligrams, sixth cycle was 15 or 14, next one was 17, next one was 1,800, this one 2,000. So it's kind of that periodic move upwards, which is really important to know, and using and utilizing compounds which ultimately like marry together and offer the best side effects, because they're all side effects, but they offer the best ones. So that's a DHT derivative, mostly testosterone, bioidentical growth hormone. And through that, we'll definitely introduce some insulin, probably do some baseline level of Atlantis and maybe some Nova Rapid, and we'll probably introduce a little bit more growth hormone, maybe go up to 6 or 7 IUs. So that's the cycle, guys. Don't do it. Don't do that. Like, stay away from steroids. Like, it's like, to think my first cycle of 250 milligrams, the innocent little boy then knew that I'd be doing nearly 10 times that. It's pretty intense to think about, and I do anyway, have that little seed in my brain that goes, oh, you're in the big boys now, and you've got to be very mindful. So that is why echocardiogram, kidney ultrasounds, blood work, blood pressure, blood glucose, trying to do as much as I can to at least know when something wrong is going to happen. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's honest. That's kind of the way it is. That is like an IFBB Pro bodybuilding cycle, a real one, after a long time of being on anabolics. So Hope you guys enjoyed this content. Let me know if you want to hear more about this stuff. We can definitely delve into like compound types, what you should choose, what you should maybe think about and make the decision for yourself, I should say. We could maybe do some content about that, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Peace and love, everybody. Bye-bye.